Parasite, Gu, breeding longevity path, starting from the love-enamored Gu. Author, Thousand Lakes True Person. Genre, Adventure, Martial Arts, Cultivation Fantasy. Chapter 241, Nascent Soul Ancestors Recruitment, Future Alliance Hierarch. Of course, Master Peach Blossom was not just incredibly beautiful, she was also a formidable nascent soul ancestor, whose cultivation was unfathomably advanced. Even though she tried hard to suppress her own aura, her nascent soul domain, lightly released, still exerted suffocating pressure on all cultivators present, as if a mountain was rolling over them. It felt as if with a mere movement, heaven and earth would split apart, just like deity. Her existence was beyond imagination. If a Golden Core Master could rule over an island, a nascent soul elder could rule over a whole sea area, maintaining the rule of a power for 1,000 years. It was easy to perceive her deterrent power. In some respects, she could be referred to as a land immortal. Correct, are you the Golden Core female cultivators who wish to join our Wuji alliance? Master Peach Blossom's beautiful eyes fell on Lang Yuexi, Lin Yazhu and Shen Baiqian. She was quite content with what she saw. Because she was a beauty fanatic, she naturally wanted the women she recruited to be beautiful. Now at a glance, these 3 Golden Core female cultivators were indeed exceptional, with perfect figures, and their beauty was not at all inferior to her own. They perfectly met her preferences. Yes, Master. Lang Yuexi, Lin Yazhu and Shen Baiqian all responded respectfully. After all, the other person was a nascent soul ancestor, a figure they had no chance of meeting on Immortal Mist Island. It was unexpected that as soon as they arrived at the Wuji Alliance, they would encounter such a powerful figure. Even though they were Golden Core Masters themselves, they still felt a wave of pressure. Would you like to join my Peach Blossom Island? Master Peach Blossom inquired. The so-called Peach Blossom Island was, of course, an island she controlled, with a 4th stage spirit vein, making it one of the most important islands controlled by the Wuji Alliance and rich in resources. The power she had created basically all lived on Peach Blossom Island. Of course, that's beside the point. The most important thing was that once they agreed to join Peach Blossom Island, they would essentially be entering the core of the Wuji Alliance and becoming core members. The benefits they would receive were unimaginable. However, in doing so, they would lose their autonomy and would no longer be able to have their own power. If we join Peach Blossom Island, what should we do with the people who have come with us? Lang Yuexi asked. Well, of course, you'll leave them to the Wuji Alliance to handle. Other than you, random people naturally can't set foot on Peach Blossom Island. Master Peach Blossom responded matter-of-factly. After all, her Peach Blossom Island was her residence, she naturally wouldn't allow a bunch of noisy people on her island. Cultivators who could enter Peach Blossom Island were generally the ones close to her. In that case, we're deeply sorry. We are the sect masters of our own sects, carrying the legacy of the sections. We can't abandon these sect disciples, we can only apologize for rejecting the kindness. Lang Yuexi said solemnly. We feel the same. Lin Yazhu and Shen Baiqian nodded. They naturally didn't want to abandon their own sects either. After all, these elders and disciples had followed them for thousands of miles to join the Wuji Alliance. They couldn't just abandon them. They weren't that kind of people. The Golden Core managers of the Wuji Alliance who were present all widened their eyes in disbelief, looking at Lang Yuexi and the others. They hadn't expected these Golden Core female cultivators to make such a choice. It must be noted that Master Peach Blossom was a nascent soul ancestor, the future alliance hierarch of the Wuji Alliance. If they followed Master Peach Blossom, they might even have the opportunity to form nascent souls in the future. But if they relied on themselves, there was no way they could form nascent souls. Just trying to obtain the materials needed for forming a nascent soul was a daunting task. It can be said that this refusal was equivalent to giving up an opportunity to obtain the materials for forming a nascent soul. Do they really know what a great opportunity they have missed? Well, you guys are loyal and righteous. In that case, if you ever change your mind in the future, you can come to find me. Upon hearing this, Master Peach Blossom smiled a little, showing no anger. On the contrary, she admired these women even more. Loyal and righteous people are always worth admiring. And she was not the kind of woman who would fly into a rage after being rejected. Of course, once rejected, she would not provide another opportunity. After all, opportunities only come once. If you miss it, there won't be a next time. Whoosh! As soon as her words fell, Master Peach Blossom's figure flashed, and she instantly left the place, without any intention of politeness, and even without saying hello to the Golden Core managers present. She did things her own way. Seeing Master Peach Blossom leaving, the various Golden Core managers also breathed a sigh of relief. Their expressions relaxed a lot. After all, the nascent soul ancestors' pressure was too enormous. Even if the other side had little malice, they still felt suffocated. It was like a rabbit staying by a tiger. Even if you knew the tiger might be full, who would know if the tiger would suddenly go mad and kill them? The best solution was, of course, to stay away from the tiger. What a pity! Zhou Sui looked at the enchanting figure of Master Peach Blossom as she left and felt a bit regretful. If he could marry Master Peach Blossom, he probably would have been able to swagger around the Wuji alliance. Having a nascent soul ancestor covering him would make him untouchable in hell or heaven. But, his obsession goo was only at the third stage. It couldn't handle a nascent soul ancestor. In that case, he could only give up for the time being. I hadn't expected you to be willing to refuse the master. Do you know how great an opportunity you missed? Manager Peng Hao said regretfully. He hadn't thought these Golden Core female cultivators would reject Master Peach Blossom's solicitation. If it were any other Golden Core masters, they probably would have agreed long ago. Everyone has their own ambition. Lang Yuexi smirked slightly, without any intention of explaining. True, everyone has their own ambition. Since you've refused Master's solicitation, you can't become core members of the Wuji Alliance. You can only become peripheral members. Of course, even so, you have the right to choose 3 islands as your future base in the Wuji Alliance. As long as you don't betray the Wuji Alliance, these islands will become your headquarters in the future. As long as you pay a certain management fee each year, you can reside there forever. Manager Peng Hao said, outlining the numerous benefits of joining the Wuji Alliance. The biggest benefit was that they could get an island with a third-stage spirit vein for free. If they were core members of the Wuji Alliance, or the legitimate lineage, they naturally could have an island with a high-grade, third-stage spirit vein. But if they were peripheral members, with little power and little responsibility, they could only choose from the leftover islands, most likely with a low-grade, third-stage spirit vein. Although for a Golden Core Master, that would be barely good enough, the environment certainly wouldn't be as good as that of a high-grade, third-stage spirit vein. Chapter 242, Advancement to Late Foundation Establishment, 3 Challenges in Core Formation. A third-stage island for free. Zhou Sui narrowed his eyes. He knew from the memory of the 3 Owls of Wu that this was one of the Wuji Alliance's methods to attract loose Golden Core cultivators. After all, a Golden Core Master who wants to practice cultivation definitely needs to find suitable spiritual veins. So, this meant that they would have to join the Wuji Alliance. For the Wuji Alliance, this strategy was actually not a loss. Because the territory controlled by the Wuji Alliance was vast, too vast. With the Wuji Island as the center, covering hundreds of millions, even billions of kilometers of sea area, no one knew how many islands were scattered around. Naturally, islands with 4th-stage spirit veins were in minority. But for 3rd-stage spirit vein islands, just those discovered by people were already over 100,000. As for the 2nd-stage spirit vein islands, they were countless, innumerable. With so many islands, it was unrealistic for the Wuji Alliance to exploit every single one with their manpower. They simply didn't have enough hands. Just exploiting an island like the Wuji Island, with a diameter of 1,000,000 kilometers, had already exhausted a lot of their manpower. That's why they were better off being generous, taking out some third-tier islands and giving them to Golden Core Masters. After all, the nominal control was always with the Wuji Alliance. If the other party died, their lifespan expired, or they were betrayed, they could take back this third-tier island. Over time, the Wuji Alliance could effortlessly gain a large pile of islands fully exploited by Golden Core Masters. At the same time, inheriting all the wealth on the islands. You could say it was a plot that killed many birds with one stone. And it was a transparent plot. Even if other Golden Core Masters knew about the Wuji Alliance's intentions, they would still rush forward eagerly. In a certain way, the Wuji Alliance was indeed a huge alliance, ruling over a large number of Golden Core families and Golden Core sects, like stars revolving around the Wuji Island. It was just like all the stars surrounding a moon. As long as the Wuji Alliance could continually foster nascent soul ancestors, they could exist forever. We got it. Lang Yuexi and the others nodded, looking at the Golden Core managers. Which third-stage island do you want? At this point, Golden Core Manager Peng Hao brought out a pile of materials, containing information about all the major third-stage islands, and handed them all to Lang Yuexi and the others to choose. Once chosen, they could not change their decision. "My lord, which island should we choose?" At this time, Lang Yuexi transmitted her thoughts to Zhou Sui, asking for his opinion. After all, this choice was extremely important. Once chosen improperly, they basically would not be able to change it. "Which island?" Hearing this, Zhou Sui's eyes flashed. To be honest, even with the memory of the three owls of Wu, he didn't have a thorough understanding of the islands owned by the Wuji Alliance. After all, the islands owned by the Wuji Alliance were simply too numerous. But luckily he had the heavenly earthly wondrous insect on him, the object-searching Gu. This Gu insect, after 5 years of cultivation, had been elevated to the mid-grade level of the second stage. Compared to when he first acquired it, its abilities were now much stronger. It could not only help the host find specific objects and people but also help the host find things they desired in their hearts, even if those things were extremely vague, even if they had no impression of them at all. This was the amazing aspect of the object-searching Gu. Serving as a wish machine, it could help the host find anything. With this thought in mind, he didn't hesitate and immediately activated the power of the object-searching Gu. "Help me find the most suitable island." Zhou Sui poured his thoughts into it. Splash! In an instant, it seemed as if the object-searching Gu sensed something. Its power penetrated into the endless lines of karma, and it accessed some information from the void. The next second, a piece of information immersed deep into Zhou Sui's sea of consciousness. Tri-Star Island Group, suspected to possess fourth-stage spiritual veins. All of a sudden, Zhou Sui got this information from the object-searching Gu. He was greatly shocked, feeling unbearably excited in his heart. Generally, the Wuji Alliance would only possibly offer islands with lower-tier third-stage spiritual veins. As for islands with fourth-stage spiritual veins, don't even think about it, they were basically occupied by nascent soul ancestors. At the least, they would be occupied by core members, and would not be given to perimeter members. But there were exceptional cases. That was when these islands concealed fourth-stage spiritual veins even the members of the Wuji Alliance hadn't noticed. And this was pretty normal. After all, the exploration of spiritual veins was actually a difficult task, not as simple as imagined. It was similar to locating a deposit of minerals. Finding a rich mine was difficult. So this had also led to some spiritual veins being hidden deep underground, impossible for cultivators to detect. Therefore, some cultivators had the opportunity to stumble upon hidden treasure. Apparently, the Tri-Star Island group that the object-searching Gu hinted at might just be a pearl in the profusion of islands. With this thought, Zhou Sui immediately transmitted his thoughts to Lang Yuexi, Lin Yazhu, and Shen Baiqian. Although Lang Yuexi and the others didn't know why Zhou Sui wanted to go to that island, they had absolute trust in Zhou Sui, hence without hesitation, they made their choice. They conveyed their choice to the Golden Core Manager, Peng Hao. Tri-Star Island Group. We do have such a group of islands in our Wuji Alliance. This place has 3 islands, their shape resembles stars, hence it is named Tri-Star Island. They are separately called Wood Star Island, Fire Star Island, and Water Star Island. Chapter 243, Advancement to Late Foundation Establishment, 3 Challenges in Core Formation. Wood Star Island is covered with a plethora of vegetation, lush and flourishing. Fire Star Island possesses a third-stage Earth Fire Spirit vein, which makes it great for Pill Master's cultivation. The case with Water Star Island is because of many rivers that appear on the island, with a vast water area. The diameter of these 3 islands is around 10,000 kilometers, and they only have third-stage lower-rank spirit veins. The mineral resources are almost non-existent, making the resources extremely scarce. Apart from the relatively high grade of the spirit veins, there's nothing splendid. Knowing these conditions, do you still want to obtain the Tri-Star Island Group? Peng Hao, the Golden Core Manager, schemed through the information and shared the details about the Tri-Star Island Group. He was a bit surprised that the other party found the Tri-Star Island Group so quickly. Even a Golden Core Manager like him, who was quite familiar with the entire Wuji Alliance's islands, would take some time to locate the Tri-Star Island Group. After all, the number of islands governed by the Wuji Alliance was so vast, reaching an estimated tens of thousands. It's impossible for him to be thoroughly familiar with every single island. Yes, the 3 of us from the Golden Core sects need precisely 3 islands. They're conveniently situated close to each other, forming a triangulated position, making it easier for the 3 of us from the major sects to travel. Although the spirit veins grade is slightly low, it's marginally suitable for our cultivation. After all, we just arrived at Wuji Alliance, finding better islands is unrealistic. So after considering everything, the Tri-Star Island group seems to be the best option. Lang Yuexi gave a slight smile. I see. In that case, consider it settled. Later, I will lead you to the Tri-Star Island group. From then on, that place will be the dwelling place for the three of you from the major Golden Core sects. Every year, as long as you pay the corresponding management fees, you'll be able to stay on these 3 islands. Peng Hao, the Golden Core manager, gave a slight smile and immediately made a decision. Initially, he wanted to establish a good relationship with these female Golden Core practitioners by giving them a favor, using his connections to find some better islands. But after some thought, he decided to give up on that plan. After all, they were only peripheral members. Any islands they select would surely only be those with 3rd stage lower rank spirit veins. All the slightly better islands were chosen by core members. Where would it be the turn of other Golden Core masters? Unless they made significant contributions to the Wuji Alliance in the future and used those achievements to exchange for better islands. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to get better islands. Thank you, Deist Peng. Lang Yuexi nodded. After more than 10 days. Under Peng Hao's guidance, cultivators from the 3 major sects, Immortal Mist Sect, Danding Faction, and King Mu Sect finally arrived at the Tri-Star Island group, which is quite distant from the main island, Wuji Island. They were virtually stationed on the outskirts of the territory governed by the Wuji Alliance. As a result, they had to fly for a long time before reaching the Tri-Star Island group. Having brought Zhou Sui and the others over, Peng Hao, the Golden Core manager, left directly to return to Wuji Island. This is the Tri-Star Island group. It seems to be a magnetic field that attracts both talented individuals and provides a geographical advantage. Lang Yuexi was quite pleased. In this sea area, apart from the 3 main islands, there were also scattered islets, strewn around like stars. The size of the main islands, each having a diameter of 10,000 kilometers, was quite astonishing. After all, the size of the Asian continent, where Zhou Sui was located in his past life, was only 18,000 kilometers. The area of 10,000 kilometers was almost equivalent to more than half of the Asian continent. An island like Immortal Mist Island, with a diameter of 1.2 million kilometers, was actually quite rare in the Kanglan Sea territory. At least a 4th stage island would have this size. Fire Star Island has an earth fire spirit vein, which is great for our Danding faction. Let's take this island. Shen Baiqian gave a slight smile. Our King Mu sect would like Wood Star Island. The wood element spirit energy on the island is rich, which is suitable for our King Mu sect cultivators. Lin Yazua said in a solemn voice. In that case, our Immortal Mist sect will take Water Star Island. Lang Yuexi nodded. She did not have much demand for the island. As long as there was a 3rd stage spirit vein, it was completely sufficient for the entire Immortal Mist sect of 3,000 people. With brief negotiations, the 3 female Golden Core cultivators had decided on how they would distribute the 3 islands. Swish, swish, swish. Immediately, the cultivators from the 3 major sects set forth to their respective islands and started the construction. Since they needed to stay here for a long time, they naturally needed to build palaces, houses, markets, and so on. For these cultivators, these tasks were trivial and didn't require a sect master's involvement. After the cultivators had left, Lang Yuexi curiously turned to Zhou Sui, "Husband, why did you choose the Tri-Star Island group? Is there something special here?" She felt that her husband's choice went beyond the simple reasons he'd given, there had to be a deeper significance. Yes, there may exist a 4th stage spirit vein in this group of islands. Zhou Sui narrowed his eyes. At any rate, there were no outsiders present, so he did not mind revealing this secret. 4th stage spirit vein. Upon hearing this, both Shen Baiqian and Lin Yazua were stunned, exchanging surprised glances. If a 4th stage spirit vein existed within these islands, it would be an unimaginable opportunity. Chapter 244, Advancement to Late Foundation Establishment, 3 Challenges in Core Formation. Immortal Mist Island had lost the opportunity for nascent soul because of losing the 4th stage spirit vein in the past. This led many Golden Core cultivators to leave Immortal Mist Island to find opportunities for core formation. If a 4th stage spirit vein existed in this place, then they could also form their cores here. They wouldn't need to borrow another 4th stage spirit vein to form their cores. The significance of this is self-evident. However, after carefully sensing, they still couldn't find the existence of the fourth stage spirit vein. Thinking about it, this was quite normal. If a fourth stage spirit vein could be found so easily, this island would not have been given up by the Wuji alliance. My lord, if there really is a fourth stage spirit vein, where could the source be? Shen Baiqian asked curiously. It's not in the island, but under the deep sea. Zhou Sui let out a faint smile. He received information about the fourth stage spirit vein from the object searching Gu. It was located under the Tri-Star Island group. Due to being in the deep sea, many of the cultivators of the Wuji alliance could not notice it. In the deep sea? If so, it might be extremely troublesome. Lin Yazua frowned slightly. After all, attracting a fourth stage spirit vein, especially one in the deep sea, was probably not an easy task. Especially if the information about the fourth stage spirit vein was exposed, it would surely be reclaimed by the Wuji alliance immediately. They would not stand a chance to use it. Don't worry. I have already found the source of that deep sea fourth stage spirit vein. Next, we'll just need to set up a third stage spirit gathering array, to lead the spiritual energy of the spirit vein to the surface. So that the spirit vein grade of the three islands will increase. Accepting a third class, middle grade or even a third class, high grade level. When you need to advance to the nascent soul realm in the future, artificially increase the concentration of spiritual energy to reach the fourth stage. In this way, no one would know that there exists a fourth stage spirit vein here. Even if they come to our island, they will only know that there exists a third stage spirit vein. But according to your late golden core strength, protecting the third stage spirit vein should not be a problem. Zhou Sui stroked his chin, he had already thought through the plan. After all, he was a third class, high-grade array master. Setting up a third stage spirit gathering array was simply child's play for him. Currently, among the three sects, no one's formation cultivation level is higher than his. My lord, in that case, the spirit gathering array and mountain protection array of our three sects will need to rely entirely on you. The formation masters in our sects are all mediocre and can't be compared to you. Shen Baiqian looked at Zhou Sui with affectionate eyes. Lang Yuexi and Lin Yazua also nodded. After all, the third stage arrays of their sects had been built by the array masters 1,000 years ago. The younger generations are inferior now and can no longer reproduce the arrays arranged by their predecessors. They could only rely on Zhou Sui's power to set up a third stage array. No problem, leave it to me. Zhou Sui nodded, he could use this opportunity to apply his many years of knowledge in formations. Although his formation cultivation level indeed reached the realm of third class, high grade, he didn't have many chances to apply it. If he manages to embed theoretical knowledge with practice, then he believes his formation cultivation level will definitely improve greatly. One day later, Zhou Sui used a high-grade spiritual artifact, the water-repelling pearl, to enter the deep sea. His entire body was wrapped in a bubble, which contained continuous spiritual energy and could isolate the water from the outside, allowing people to move freely in the sea. This was one of the spiritual artifacts in the Immortal Mist Sect's treasury, taken out by Zhou Sui. Because he was going to dive into the seabed, to observe the spirit veins in the depths of the sea. It really is a fourth stage spirit vein. But it's not just a simple fourth class, low-grade spirit vein. It might be a middle grade, or even a high-grade, fourth stage spirit vein. It is indeed an opportunity, but it is also quite troublesome. Zhou Sui activated his heart eyes and spread the invisible power of heart, sensing the whole seabed. There were also some mountain ranges in the deep sea, and a vast spirit vein was hidden in the depths of the sea. It was like a giant dragon lurking in the deep sea, its spiritual energy was unimaginably dense. It's simply incomparable to a third stage spirit vein. Because the spirit vein was hidden deep within the sea, separated by a thick barrier, almost no spiritual energy leaked out, so it was normal for cultivators to unidentify it. If not for the power of the object-searching Gu, he wouldn't be aware of the secret either. Perhaps it would take thousands or even tens of thousands of years of crustal movement and volcanic eruptions for the spirit veins in the deep sea to emit massive amounts of spiritual energy before they could be known to the world. But now it's different. This spirit vein has been discovered by him. Naturally, he needs to build an array to hide this fourth stage spirit vein. In this way, even if a cultivator accidentally passed by, he would not be able to sense the existence of the fourth stage spirit vein here. He is well aware of the trouble that the exposure of a fourth stage spirit vein can cause. But if he had to spit out the meat in his mouth, it would be even more impossible. Moreover, most importantly, as long as the array is used to hide it, there won't be any problem. When he advances to the golden core, or even the nascent soul realm, even if the fourth great spirit vein is exposed, no one dares to say anything about it. Chapter 245, Advancement to Late Foundation Establishment, 3 Challenges in Core Formation. First, set up a third class, high-grade spirit gathering array to connect to the spiritual energy of this spirit vein. Even a tiny bit of it is enough to elevate the spirit veins of the 3 islands to a third class, high grade. Zhou Sui stroked his chin, beginning to ponder the scheme of the array. For him, who possessed a third class, high-grade formation cultivation level, this was child's play. Not to mention, he had the help of Bookworm. He felt like an engineer working on a giant project. Another month passed by. During this time, Zhou Sui helped the Immortal Mist sect set up a third class, high-grade Mist Yin-Yang formation on the Water Star Island. On Fire Star Island, he helped the Danding faction set up a third class, high-grade Earth Fire Flame Dragon formation. His reputation as a third class, high-grade array master echoed throughout the 3 major sects. Many cultivators were sincere in their admiration for him. Despite some claiming that he had attained his skills through underhanded means, the undeniable truth was his strength. At this moment, he set up a third class, high-grade Etherwood Shenli formation on Woodstar Island. Boom boom boom. Atop the highest peak of Woodstar Island, within a vast palace, Zhou Sui had set up the final node of the formation. Instantly, a massive array barrier enveloped the entire Mother Star Island, covering an area of tens of thousands of kilometers. The third class, high-grade spirit gathering array was also successfully set up. This made the mountain peak where this array was set up the source of the spirit vein and also the place where the spiritual energy is the densest. It's done. Zhou Sui smiled slightly, filled with joy. After setting up formations on the 3 islands, he felt his understanding of arrays had increased. The realm of 4th class array master didn't seem too distant. He also realized the difference between the 3rd class spirit gathering array and the 2nd class one. The usual 2nd class spirit gathering array could only gather the surrounding nature's spiritual energy. However, this would cause leakage of spiritual energy, resulting in a lack of density within the array. But a 3rd class spirit gathering array is different. Due to the power field it creates, all of nature's spiritual energy is gathered together and collected within the barrier. This way, the spiritual energy cannot escape into the surrounding environment. Therefore, the amount of spiritual energy a 3rd class spirit gathering array could gather is several times that of a 2nd class one. The efficiency is also substantially improved. Brother Zhou, thank you for helping the King Mu sect set up a 3rd class array. If it weren't for your help, I don't know what the King Mu sect would have done. The King Mu sect master, Lin Yazhu, was very moved. After all, inviting a 3rd class array master would have been exorbitantly expensive. Even amongst the Wuji alliance, the cost of engaging a 3rd class array master was considerable, enough to drain the King Mu sect greatly. But now, Zhou Sui had helped freely, saving countless resources. If this man could truly join the King Mu sect, their strength would also see a considerable increase. If this was indeed the case, perhaps she should brainstorm ways to make this man stay. It was her responsibility as the sect master of the King Mu sect after all. Thinking of this, Lin Yazhu was profoundly moved, her cheeks flushed, her beautiful eyes gazing lovingly at Zhou Sui. It was as if her heart was brimming with an uncontrollable love. At this moment, Zhou Sui felt a mysterious power emanating from the obsession goo which had passed over him. In an instant, it covered his entire body. His aura and Lin Yazhu seemed to have become one, as if they completely fused together. Sect Master Lin, the 3rd class array I set up for your King Mu sect did not come for free, Zhou Sui said with a halfway grin. Not free? What do you want? Lin Yazhu asked curiously. Isn't it obvious? What I want is you, Sect Master Lin, Zhou Sui replied as he moved forward to pull her into his arms. Looking at her regal face and sensing her queenly aura, he felt a tremendous sense of conquest. After all these years, he was finally about to conquer this dignified woman. WH what? Have you lost your mind? What nonsense are you talking about? Lin Yazhu blushed, looking panicky. She seemed to forget she was a golden core master at this moment. She appeared a helpless young girl now. The King Mu sect just moved to this unfamiliar place. It is a time when the sect needs to spend heavily on infrastructure. As the sect master, you should be willing to pay a little price to save the sect's resources, Zhou Sui said, looking at Lin Yazhu assertively. You despicable wretch, making all the other disciples leave so that it's just you and me. You planned this all along, to have us here alone, didn't you? You think I, Lin Yazhu, will just give in like that? Lin Yazhu glared at him, her face flushed. Won't you? Zhou Sui reached out and gently lifted her smooth chin. All right, in consideration of the sect's future, I'll bear with your bullying. There's no other way. After all, I am doing this for the future of the sect. But you need to be gentle. Lin Yazhu's face turned red, she weakly uttered these words, seemingly having lost all ability to resist. A few hours later, Zhou Sui and Lin Yazhu had completed the rites of intimacy, becoming one. You and your love have fallen deeply in love, your hearts resonate with each other. The obsession Gu flourished in response to your deep affection and made a significant evolution. It has reached the pinnacle of the third class, high-grade stage. Chapter 246, Advancement to Late Foundation Establishment, 3 Challenges in Core Formation. You have gained a certain degree of cultivation experience in the Golden Core realm. Your spiritual root aptitude has been improved to a certain extent. You have gained the yin force of the other party, elevating your cultivation to the late foundation establishment stage. Instantly, a series of messages emerged from the depths of Zhou Sui's sea of consciousness. These were the fruits of his labor. He was also secretly astounded, not expecting himself to fuse with Lin Yazhu in this manner. After all, it had been a long time since the obsession Gu had entered Lin Yazhu. But there were no significant movements. Because the power of the obsession Gu was suppressed by Lin Yazhu's formidable Dao heart. However, it was just a suppression, and not an elimination. Thus, the longer the suppression, the more intense the outbreak would be. Now that he had found a safe residence, he could no longer repress it. Naturally, the benefits he gained from Lin Yazhu's 300 years of cultivation with Yuanyan were self-evident. Originally, his cultivation had reached the peak of the mid-foundation establishment stage, and to break through to the late foundation establishment stage, he would need at least a decade of cultivation to potentially break through this bottleneck. But now, having acquired this massive surge of yin force, his foundation establishment bottleneck was instantly shattered. It was as if everything had fallen into place effortlessly, without any hindrance. Is this the realm of the late foundation establishment stage? Zhou Sui used his divine sense, sensing the state within his Danshan Qi Si. Now that he had ascended to the late foundation establishment stage, the volume of his Danshan Qi Si expanded once again, like a deep pond expanding into a small lake, filled with a large amount of dark golden monoliquid. There were about 500 drops of the dark golden monoliquid, each one containing immense energy. Compared to before, his mana had increased by more than double. It was clear how great the benefits of advancing to the late foundation establishment stage were. Boom! At this moment, he circulated the mana within his body, a full 500 drops of mana liquid surging in his body, seemingly forming a river, circulating through his body again and again. He felt the mana surge within his body. It seemed that a light strike could cause a terrifying amount of damage. It's too exaggerated. A typical cultivator at the late foundation establishment stage can only accommodate 365 drops of mana liquid in their Danshan Qi Si, which is the limit for a typical foundation establishment cultivator. Such an amount of mana is more than enough to condense a golden core. But now, my Danshan Qi Si can accommodate 500 drops of mana liquid, and this is not even the limit. If I cultivate to the peak of the foundation establishment stage, I could probably increase to 1,000 drops of mana liquid. Just in terms of the total amount of mana, I am already several times more than other foundation establishment cultivators. Is this the power of the Insect God Sutra? Compared to other cultivation techniques, it is indeed much stronger. From the very beginning, there is a huge disparity, they're simply incomparable. Zhou Sui was astonished, sensing the state of the Danshan Qi Si within his body. He had obtained the cultivation techniques of 3 major sects, as well as many experiences in core formation. He naturally knew what it was like for other foundation establishment cultivators during their core formation. He was also very clear about how he should go about forming his core. Core formation is similar to foundation establishment, it also requires passing through 3 tests. The first test is the mana test. If your mana isn't pure enough, you simply cannot form the core, even if you do, the core would fail due to too many impurities. But basically, 99% of foundation establishment cultivators will encounter this problem, because they do not form their foundation on their own, but through the use of the foundation pill, so their mana naturally isn't pure enough. Of course, there is a way to solve this problem, and that is to find a core formation spiritual object to assist you. Core formation spiritual objects can help foundation establishment cultivators purify their mana, making it free of any impurities. In the past, this was the case with Lang Yuexi. She obtained the core formation spiritual object, the ice fire spiritual liquid, which caused her inner mana to become pure, free of any impurities, naturally increasing her core formation success rate by 30%. The second test is the divine sense test. This test is also extremely important because successful core formation for foundation establishment cultivators is indispensable to the power of divine sense. If one's divine sense is not strong enough, they naturally cannot compress liquid mana into a core. The third test is the blood and chi test, also known as the physical constitution test. If a foundation establishment cultivator is old and frail, or has injuries, it would easily lead to failed core formation. Because the mana of core formation is quite powerful, once it circulates in the meridians, if the body isn't strong enough to withstand the circulation of core formation's mana, it will naturally cause the meridians to rupture and the body to explode and perish. These three tests are extremely important for foundation establishment cultivators. Even if one fails to pass a single test, it will lead to failed core formation and the death of their Dao. Zhou Sui stroked his chin, recalling the many core formation experiences he had gained before. These experiences were left behind by the foundation establishment cultivators of the three major sects over generations, and their value was self-evident. This was the advantage of the golden core power. The experiences left by generations of cultivators bring great benefits to later generations, enabling them to avoid making the same mistakes. The benefits are self-evident. Now he had inherited nearly 1,000 years of cultivation experience from the three major sects, standing on the shoulders of giants. Obviously, for a cultivator, core formation is more dangerous than foundation establishment. It's a one-way street. Once failed, there will be a rampage of mana, exploding and dying, almost irreparable. Unless there are rare body-protecting pills to protect the body, otherwise it's certain death. But for me, these are not problems. Because I built my foundation on my own, the mana within my body has no impurities and is extremely pure. As for divine sense and physical constitution, it goes without saying. Even though I haven't reached the golden core realm, I'm already stronger than most golden core cultivators. In other words, as long as the mana in my body can reach the state of perfection, I can naturally form a core on my own. A glint flashed in Zhou Sui's eyes. Compared to other foundation establishment cultivators, his current condition was far too superior. He was also very grateful that he chose to form his foundation on his own. This way, he didn't know how many resources he would save. Even without the so-called core formation spiritual objects, he could still succeed in core formation. Others need to take risks, hence their chances of survival are slim. But for him, there was no such concern. It could be said that each step he took was a step ahead. His choice of not ingesting the premium foundation pill and forming his foundation on his own was correct. However, if one doesn't have the fortune or aptitude, it would still be better to take the foundation pill, at least it's safer. Chapter 247, Lin Sect Master, you also wouldn't want the people of King Mu Sect to know about this, right? Indeed, after ascending to the late foundation establishment realm, my divine sense has greatly increased. Now, my divine sense is comparable to a cultivator at the late golden core stage. A glimmer sparked in Zhou Sui's eyes. Originally, his divine sense could only cover a range of 800 feet. But now, after advancing to the late foundation establishment realm, it had increased to 2,000 feet. Compared to before, the increase was indeed substantial. It should be known that the further along one is with his divine sense, the more challenging it is to improve it. Even a bit of divine sense's improvement would be extremely difficult. A cultivator with as potent divine sense as his is hard to come by, even among those gifted ones. Of course, with the enhancement of his divine sense, his heart-eye power has also expanded enormously. Now, his heart-eye could cover a range of over 20,000 feet. If we were to compare exploring ranges alone, even a nascent soul cultivator would find it hard to surpass him. Boom! At this moment, the power of his heart-eye spread out, covering a radius of 20,000 feet. All the cultivators of the King Mu sect were within his sensing range. Their every action, every frown, every smile, was presented in great detail before his eyes. It was like he had the eye of God, able to see through everything. The numerous cultivators also couldn't detect the probing of his hard eye. That's right, let's see how the virtual panel data looks. Zhou Sui stroked his chin, immediately opened the virtual panel. After all, only the data of the virtual panel could allow him to observe how his cultivation had progressed. Host, Zhou Sui, cultivation, late foundation establishment, progress 10%, lifespan, 42,000 years. Aptitude, 5th grade spirit root, 11%. Swordmanship, 2nd class, high grade, 70%. Rune, 2nd class, low grade, 70%. 7th order formation, 3rd class, high grade, 70%. Pill master, 2nd class, high grade, 99%. Phantasma transformation skill, grade achievement, 10%. 5 elements alchemy technique, grandmaster, 5%. 7 apertures spirit secret, hard eye recognition, hard eye insight, hard eye linguistics, 60%. Fireball technique, grandmaster, 99%, wind blade art, skilled, golden light skill, skilled, ice frost skill, skilled, spring wind rain skill, skilled, lightning summoning skill, skilled. Obsession goo, 3rd class, high grade, clone goo, 2nd class, high grade, wine bug, 2nd class, high grade, gold eating bug, 2nd class, high grade, bookworm, 2nd class, high grade, dream soul goo, 2nd class, high grade, dragon elephant goo, 2nd class, high grade, golden light thousand poison goo, 2nd class, high grade, teleportation insect, 2nd class, high grade, array heart goo, 3rd class, high grade, object searching goo, 2nd class, high grade. Is it a 10% progress already? The effect of the yin force from the female cultivator at the late golden core stage is really significant. Moreover, there's a huge deposit of yin essence stored in the body that hasn't been digested yet. If it's completely transformed into mana, it wouldn't be too far from foundation establishment completion, even without advancement in cultivation. Zhou Sui was quite satisfied. Obviously, this dual cultivation brought him enormous benefits. Speaking truthfully, under normal circumstances, without 70 to 80 years, he probably wouldn't have been able to advance to the late foundation establishment realm. Even Lang Yuexi with her 1st grade spirit root only reached foundation establishment completion at the age of 80. But now, he had advanced to the late foundation establishment realm at just 40. Being at foundation establishment completion wasn't that far-fetched anymore. Indeed, without the assistance of 2 golden core Dao companions, his cultivation speed wouldn't have been this quick. He had to rely on Dao companions, otherwise, with his spiritual root aptitude, when would have he achieved this? But my lifespan has actually increased to 2,000 years. Compared to before, my lifespan has increased by a whole 400 years. So, even a minor realm progression could increase the lifespan. Zhou Sui was delighted. After all, cultivators cultivate precisely to extend their lifespan, to achieve immortality. Now, being only at foundation establishment realm and already having a lifespan of 2,000 years, he didn't dare to imagine how amazed the other cultivators would be. It was just too extraordinary. Even the ancient nascent soul realm elders only lived for about 1,000 years. It was easy to imagine just how astonishing his lifespan was. Are the cultivation levels of the goo worms elevated as well? Not bad, not bad. Zhou Sui also sensed that the 11 goo worms in his body had all undergone significant improvements, at least all advancing by a minor realm, hence their abilities also improved. His elevation in cultivation also led to the power increase of every single goo worm. At this moment, they all contained immense mana within them, each one like his Danshan Qi Si. It could be said that this time it was an all-round advancement. His strength had progressed amazingly. At this moment, Lin Yazue slowly woke up. She looked at herself, then at Zhou Sui, her face reddened. It was clear she knew what had just transpired. Obviously, this man had his way with her. In fact, she had remained chaste for over 300 years, but ended up falling into this man's hands. And she was over 300 years old, too. If it were in the mortal world, she could have been his great-grandmother. Of course, in the world of cultivation, age isn't really an issue, because cultivators have transcended beyond mortal limitations. If she could become a nascent soul cultivator, then her current age would only be equivalent to a woman in her 20s or 30s in the mortal world, still considered at the prime of her life. Chapter 248, Lin Sect Master, you also wouldn't want the people of King Mu Sect to know about this, right? Sect Master Lin, I believe you wouldn't want your sect disciples to find out what just occurred, would you? Zhou Sui gently grasped Lin Yazua's smooth chin, his smile devilish. A despicable man, threatening me like this. What exactly are you planning? Lin Yazua was trembling, she couldn't help but ask. What else could it be? Naturally, I want you. In the future, you must obediently listen to me. If I say you go east, you cannot go west. If I say you fly, you cannot walk. Zhou Sui said this with a domineering aura. Deep within, he was rather moved. From the information provided by the obsession Gu, it seemed that the more domineering he was, the more Lin Yazua found it impossible to stop herself from falling more deeply in love with him. It could only be said that this woman was a masochist at heart. I understand. In the future, I will listen to your commands, so long as you keep this a secret. As long as you keep this secret, I will do whatever you command. Hearing these words, Lin Yazua's face flushed a deep red and an infatuated expression could be seen in her eyes. This man was just too wicked. He already had 5 Dao partners and still flirted with her. She found him truly despicable and shameless. The reason she submitted to him was simply that she had no choice. After all, he had dirt on her now. If she did not comply, her secret would be exposed. In front of all of her disciples, she would have lost all dignity as a sect master. So she could only submit obediently to this man. Very good, tidy up. We've stalled too long here. You must make sure the disciples of King Mu Sect don't find out. Zhou Sui was pleased with her compliance and gave Lin Yazua her orders. Yes, master. Lin Yazua obediently agreed. With a wave of her hand, she used the cleaning skill and instantly tidied up the entire palace until it looked as if nothing had ever happened there. She dressed neatly, emanating the regal aura of the sect master of the King Mu Sect. It was as if she had fully regained the momentum and power of a golden core master. What? Hearing this, Zhou Sui's mouth twitched. This woman was becoming more perverse. Without him saying anything, she placed herself in the position of a slave. In a sense, the obsession Gu couldn't change their personalities. It increased her affection for him and amplified certain aspects of her character. Clearly, Lin Yazua also harbored such tendencies deep inside, but they were concealed by her status as a sect master and her powerful cultivation. Due to the influence of the obsession Gu, these aspects were amplified. However, these changes were only manifested in front of him and did not appear in front of outsiders. To some extent, he rather liked this transformation. After all, what man wouldn't like a woman who appeared noble in front of others but acted differently behind closed doors? Click. At that moment, the palace doors opened. The elders and disciples of the King Mu Sect, who had been waiting outside for a while, entered the palace one after another. Good, the Etherwood Shenli formation, along with the Third Order formation, have been set up. From now on, you all can live safely on Woodstar Island. Zhou Sui coughed lightly, addressing the crowd. He wasn't worried about these cultivators suspecting anything. After all, setting up a Third Order formation would naturally require a lot of time. Who would know that while he had been setting up the formation, he had also made his move on Lin Yazua, the sect master of the King Mu Sect. It could only be said that he was a master of time management. No matter where he went, he never wasted time. He was very efficient in his tasks. We are truly grateful to Brother Zhou. Indeed, if it weren't for Brother Zhou's help, we wouldn't know what to do. That's right, hiring a Third Order high-grade array master from Wuji Alliance would not be easy. The elders of the King Mu Sect expressed their gratitude to Zhou Sui. Their gratitude was genuine. A Third Order array master held a high status, comparable to a Golden Core master. To hire one required a significant payment. However, without a proper formation to protect their sect, it would not be safe. So Zhou Sui's appearance was indeed a timely help. It was like sending charcoal in snowy weather. No amount of words could express their gratitude. No need for formalities. All of you are cultivators from Immortal Mist Island. The 3 sects share a common cause. In this unfamiliar territory of Wuji Alliance, we naturally need to support each other. Today I'm helping you, tomorrow you could be helping me. Mutual assistance, that's the way of the cultivator, isn't it? Zhou Sui spoke with utter sincerity, seeming noble and selfless. The reason he was so magnanimous was simply because the sect master of King Mu sect was also his Dao partner. The King Mu sect could be considered his territory and his power. Therefore, helping the King Mu sect was equivalent to helping himself, wasn't it? Most importantly, he had left his own backdoor in the Third Order formation. He had used the Array Heart Gu to invade and leave his clone behind. Thus, he was able to control the formation at any time for his own use. Brother Zhou, you are absolutely correct. The three sects of us share a common bond and are good friends. From now on, Brother Zhou, you are our best friend at the King Mu sect. Chapter 249, Lin Sect Master, you also wouldn't want the people of King Mu sect to know about this, right? Many elders of the King Mu sect were moved to tears of gratitude. Someone like Zhou Sui, they thought, is a person worthy of befriending. Even though in the world of cultivation, majority are selfish, heartless, and unscrupulous characters. Yet, just like Zhou Sui, those who are noble, sincere, and righteous still exist. Alright, no more to say. Since the arrangement of the formation is completed, I'll return to the Immortal Mist sect first. In the future if anything comes up, you can seek me out at the Immortal Mist sect, I will certainly not shirk my responsibilities. Zhou Sui waved his hand, took one step forward and disappeared, leaving King Mu sect without any further delay. After all, he still wished to return to the Immortal Mist sect, to solidify his cultivation foundation. Sect Master, what should we do next? An elder of foundation establishment level asked. You should continue constructing the buildings of the King Mu sect. Also, take some time to explore the surrounding sea conditions. Investigate the local power structures. Find ways to acquire spirit stones. You should all act separately, so as not to waste time. King Mu sect master Lin Yazua gave a series of orders sternly. Yes, sect master. Hearing this, all the elders and disciples evacuated without a shred of doubt. Only Lin Yazua was left in the grand palace. That man indeed possesses a pure yang body. Just one dual cultivation session already brought such a tremendous effect to my etherwood spirit body. If we continue to undertake dual cultivation, my etherwood spirit body could potentially undergo enormous evolution. The wood transformation in my body would be rapidly healed. A glint of radiance appeared in Lin Yazua's beautiful eyes. She sensed within her body a massive fluctuation of golden core cultivation power revolving around and flowing through her meridians. It could be said that she felt a sense of ease, something that she had never experienced before. It's important to note that her successful ascension to the golden core realm, other than her first great spiritual root. The fact that she possessed an etherwood spirit body played a major role. Once one possesses such a spiritual body, there would be no obstacles in advancing to the golden core realm. Therefore, she became a cultivator of the late golden core stage when she was only 200 to 300 years old. Such a rapid progress, even in nascent soul sects, is considered as extremely fast. However, the etherwood spirit body aids in one's success, but it also stands as the cause of downfall. Due to the rapid progression in cultivation, a massive amount of wood element energy invaded her body. There were signs of wood transformation in her meridians and danshan. Honestly speaking, this is also a downside of King Mu sect's cultivation technique. If she were to continue cultivating this way, her entire body would transform into wood and eventually turn into a gigantic tree. In fact, historically, this has been the fate of all the predecessors of the King Mu sect. Basically, there was no hope for reaching the nascent soul level. Of course, in the Immortal Mist Island, attaining the realm of Golden Core is already considered as the utmost limit. To become a Golden Core master is the ultimate goal for many cultivators. And, the idea of becoming a nascent soul ancestor is just too far-fetched. But how could Lin Yazua be content with this? She was already a Golden Core completion cultivator at 300 plus years, she would not want to end this way. She vowed not to follow the footsteps of her predecessors in the King Mu sect, to prevent transformation into a tree. But now, Zhou Sui appeared. His pure yang body could seemingly assist in solving her problem of a transforming wood physique. Just after a single session of dual cultivation, Lin Yazua, to her delight, discovered that her body, which was originally succumbing to wood transformation, was relieved, and even the wood element cultivation power inside her body became active again. This indicated that she wouldn't have to follow in the footsteps of her predecessors in the King Mu sect. One can imagine the joy in her heart, which was simply indescribable. That man sure does help my cultivation greatly. Lin Yazua was very excited. In fact, ever since she knew that Zhou Sui helped Shen Baiqian to solve the issue of Taiyan spirit fire, she has been unable to wait to get this man. This man would definitely help solve her cultivation problems. Unfortunately, in the past 5 years, she had not had a chance. Only until now, when she arrived in Wuji Alliance's marine area and on the island. She finally got a chance to be alone with this man. On the surface it seems like Zhou Sui got her. But in fact, she got him. If she didn't let him, how could a cultivator who has only reached foundation establishment level possibly approach her, a golden core master? While she was the prey on the surface, she was the hunter in the dark. The King Mu longevity skill of our King Mu sect finally has a solution. Lin Yazua clenched her small fist. To be honest, the true lineage of the King Mu sect, the King Mu longevity skill, was passed down from an ancient monastery by the founding master of the King Mu sect. This technique established the King Mu sect, which lasted for centuries. This technique directly points to the divinity transformation realm, with endless mysteries. And entering is very simple. Even a lower grade spiritual root can cultivate this technique. Moreover, this technique can significantly enhance one's lifespan, far more than any cultivator of the same level. For instance, other golden core cultivators can only live for about 500 years. However, if one practices the King Mu longevity skill, it allows one to survive 600 to 700 years. Living 1 to 200 years longer than other cultivators. This shows the uniqueness of this technique, which is unparalleled by other techniques. Although she seems to be around 300 years old, she was actually younger than other golden core cultivators. The pity is, this technique isn't as simple to cultivate as it seems. In particular, after entering the golden core realm, due to the corrosion of the wood element mana, one's body begins to show signs of wood transformation. Each past King Mu sect master has experienced this situation, turning into great trees. Chapter 250, Lin Sect Master, you also wouldn't want the people of King Mu sect to know about this, right? There are ways to solve this problem, indeed. The first one is to find a special spiritual medicine called 10,000 Years Earth Marrow Spirit Liquid, which could reverse the wood transformation state. However, this substance simply does not exist on Immortal Mist Island. Even in the vast territory of Kanglan Sea, it remains an elusive rarity, spoken of but never witnessed. Thus, generations of King Mu sect masters could only helplessly watch themselves turn to wood and morph into trees. But things have changed now. A problem that no past sect master could solve has been resolved in her generation. The man is nothing short of a rare spiritual medicine who has given her a chance to form a nascent soul. It's a pity. I wish I could possess this man all by myself. Yezhu feels a bit regretful. If she could, she would love to kidnap this man and keep him to herself without sharing him with other women. Perhaps with continuous cultivation, she might have the opportunity to achieve nascent soul formation soon. But when she thought about it carefully, she gave up the idea. She didn't want to trouble herself with Shen Baiqian and Lang Yuexi. Never mind, it's better to take things slowly. Shen Baiqian, ultimately, you cannot compete with me. Nothing beats a lover. Wildflowers always smell better than the ones at home. Yezhu smiles slightly, her bewitching, alluring smile captivating hearts. Although she was previously an untouched maiden, her long life has blessed her with extensive worldly knowledge. Even if she has not tasted pork, she has seen pigs run. All men in the world are of the same kind. Several days later. Waterstar Island, Immortal Mist Sect. After more than a month of construction, Waterstar Island was already quite substantial. Many unpretentious buildings were erected atop each mountain peak. The island was spacious enough to accommodate 3,000 residents, a place sufficient for the numerous cultivators to live and practice. Most importantly, the arrangement of the third-grade Gathering Spirits formation and the high-grade third-level Mist Yin-Yang formation ensured the island's unmatched safety against external invasions. This gave the cultivators of Immortal Mist Sect a sense of security. At this moment, at the highest peak of Waterstar Island and the main peak of the Immortal Mist Sect, stood the source of the third-grade spirit vein. This peak, named Immortal Mist Peak, also happened to be the dwelling place of the sect master. The other foundation establishment elders also had mountains of their own. This place was naturally a paradise for Zhou Sui and his wives. Beloved, I did not expect your cultivation to advance to the late stage of foundation establishment so quickly. I suspect even the Golden Core realm is not too far off for you now. Ji Binjaihu said with great emotion. She noticed that Zhou Sui's aura was now that of a cultivator at the late stage of foundation establishment. When they first met, he was just a little cultivator at the first layer of qi cultivation. Now, he had surpassed her, reaching the late stage of foundation establishment. And his age was barely 40. Such a pace of improvement was even faster than Lang Yuexi back in her days. She found herself doubting whether her husband really had a lower grade spiritual root as his cultivation was advancing so rapidly. After all, she, with a 5th grade spiritual root, had yet to break through the mid-stage of foundation establishment. It was evident how incredibly difficult the cultivation at the foundation establishment realm was. I'm still far from it. To succeed in core formation, perfect mastery of mana is a must. And my Danshan Qi Si is larger than that of ordinary foundation establishment cultivators. Therefore, I need to accumulate more mana, which takes more time. It might take at least a decade or so of cultivation to reach the perfect stage of foundation establishment. Zhou Sui shook his head. His cultivation speed was not as fast as one might imagine. If it weren't for the assistance of his 2 Golden Core Dao companions, his progress to the mid-stage of foundation establishment would have been quite an achievement. There was no way he could have reached such a stage now. After all, he was a 5th grade spirit root as of now. Even a decade is pretty fast. Other cultivators at the late stage of foundation establishment need at least 50 years to reach a perfect stage. I guess it won't be long before my lord becomes the 2nd Golden Core cultivator of the Immortal Mist sect. Muzii looked at Zhou Sui with affection, a look of joy plastered on her face. If someone had told her when she was young that her husband in the future would be a Golden Core master, and she would be older than him, she would surely think they had gone mad. That's something she couldn't even dream of. With my lord's aptitude, achieving core formation is certainly not a problem. Xia Jinjian clenched her small fist. Full of confidence in Zhou Sui, she hadn't seen him fail at anything since they met. He seemed capable of anything.